lovely stuff. That was almost a full minute after I started recording that we finally got it in there.
Yeah.
So
I'd put the battery in the wrong way round.
Darren, it doesn't work if you do. It doesn't work if you do that.
Well, I fucking realise that now, don't I?
Oh dear. Well, technology mishaps aside, welcome back, listeners, to Tales from the 20 Side, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Let's Play podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm your very sweaty games master for this game, and for many others. And I'm joined by our regular cast members of Mr. Stu Jackson.
Hello, too much information.
Mr. Neil Kelly.
Hello, sweaty.
Mr. Darren Mafucci.
Alright.
And Miss Amy Chislett.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone? I know I sort of joined the call after you'd had a good time talking yourselves. Have you got anything left to say for preamble today?
Do you know, what you said reminded me, I worked with this woman who told me that her ex-partner always used to call her Sweetie. And he would send her a text saying, "Hi, Sweetie," but he'd spell it S-W-E-A-T-Y. And she never had the heart to tell him, even after it ended. So he probably went on to his next relationship saying, "Hi, Sweaty."
Oh, fantastic.
Are you sure he meant Sweetie?
Maybe he did. Well, he said he'd say it Sweetie face to face, but then, he'd text Sweaty.
I mean, he's spelling it wrong on two things.
It's very...
It's double-E and I-E on the end.
Yeah, I know. It's completely the wrong word.
I'm not convinced that he wasn't going for Sweaty, just going for a little subtle dig the entire time.
Do you think that's why the relationship ended? Really?
Quite possibly.
Because she wasn't sweaty. I mean, I didn't get to know her that well, but she didn't strike me as a particularly sweaty person.
She wasn't very moist.
No, not at all.
Fucking riveting.
People hate that word.
What's
People
that?
do. Moist.
Yeah, it's
Moist.
only good to
Moist.
describe a cake, and then any other description, like moist socks,
Oh, no.
Moss? Moss
moist
is
moss,
usually quite moist.
damp
Yeah.
moss, I think.
I prefer
Moss
damp moss. Damp moss is better.
Moist moss. Ugh.
But what
That sounds-
about moist cake?
Oh yeah, no, that's the
Yeah,
acceptable use.
that's the one acceptable use of the word.
Yeah, a moist cake sounds delicious, but moist anything else does not.
There we go. I could quite go for some moist cake myself at the moment. I've got a bit of a sugar craving going on. I'll have to make do with my glass of lemonade instead.
Wet cake.
Wet cake. That just sounds like you've taken a bucket of water and just dropped it on top of a cake, and then it's just gone splat everywhere.
Now I'm just going to be going over in my head trying to think of words that sound good with moist.
Yeah, you can't find one, I'm sure.
Because sometimes it has to be just damp, doesn't it? Or sultry.
I think damp cake sounds worse than wet.
Yeah, a damp cake.
Sultry.
I keep my cake in the cellar. It's nice and damp.
Did I tell you about the game I invented called Celebrity Bum Cakes?
Do we want to know?
Yeah, you have to think of a celebrity, your favourite celebrity, and you have to think of a cake. And now you have to imagine a contrived situation in which your favourite celebrity has, without any clothes on, accidentally sat on your favourite cake, and you've got to lick it out their bum crack for them.
I mean, if that's
So
what you're into, Neil, this is a judgment-free zone. But I don't look at the face of the rest of the group. I don't think it's for anybody here.
You don't think so?
How do you win the game?
You don't play.
Yeah, you've lost as soon as you've agreed to play. I think it's the one that gets the most approval for the choice of celebrity and most especially choice of cake.
Neil, I just need to check. You are aware we are recording this, aren't you?
Yes. And this goes out to all our listeners, free, gratis. You might like to play this game. Next time you're watching Nigella Lawson making a lemon meringue, just imagine if she accidentally sat on it.
Oh my!
I'm thinking.
Can you help me?
I'm a fan of the likes of Johnny Vegas, though. That's the.
There you go, Johnny Vegas and
An Eccles cake.
Eccles cake, yeah.
All the little raisins.
Or something moister. Something more moist, like a black forest gatto.
Oh, what is going on?
A wet black forest
Nice
gatto.
genuine sponge.
Soggy.
Control. An eclair. There you go.
And Eclair, yeah.
So my guess for when this episode goes out is that out of the current 6 minutes of recording we've got, I think Stu's going to be using about 10 seconds of it.
Oh no, I'm leaving
This
it
is
all
gold.
in. I think the world needs to know just
How depraved we
what
are.
is. Yeah, well,
I
not we.
want to
None
know.
of this.
I want to know Neil's choice.
Yeah.
Of cake or celebrity.
Both.
Both. Oh, the bum
Well,
cake
it's a
thing.
tough one. I do vary from day to day. I mean, it wasn't by accident they came up with Nigella Lawson and lemon meringue pie. If indeed that can be classed as a cake, I think it can.
But
Rather
you
than a
wouldn't want a
dessert.
moist
Has she
lemon
made it as well?
I mean, you wouldn't have much fun
Moist
with a Jaffa
meringue.
cake, which I think puts that whole routine to bed, doesn't it? Whether a Jaffa cake is a biscuit or a cake, I think in this case we can say, yeah, it's a biscuit.
They went to court about that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's about VAT. Because biscuits are not subject to VAT.
They're
Cakes
essential.
are, because they're a luxury. Yeah, biscuits are not. Biscuits are not bloody essential. I mean,
Yes,
what
they
kind of-
are. We're in
warped-
England
They're no
with
more.
the tea.
They're no more essential than cakes.
Cake
I
is
mean,
also
cake's-
essential.
Cake is pretty essential, Stu. I will die on this hill, and I think that sounds like I've got Amy to support me.
Yeah, I will join you on this.
I won't dispute that, but according to the people who decide what's VAT-able, they are not essential. They're a luxury.
Everybody loves a nice moist biscuit.
See, it doesn't work. It's not a cake.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
And also, back on that conversation. I think wasn't it decided that a Jaffa cake is a cake because cakes
It
go
is.
hard when they're stale.
Yes, and biscuits go soft.
Biscuits go soft.
And who made that rule? I think that was that rule made by, especially for Jaffa cakes.
I've got no idea.
Scientists.
Yeah, the McVitie's made that rule.
There we go. Well,
Speaking of damp biscuits and games, Neil, any other games you want to...
I'll
Let's
come up with one.
leave that one.
Save one for next week.
yeah, that was the sound of a man who has many food and slightly pornographic games in mind. But as
I
you
thought
say,
food porn was something else. I thought that was just like when you post what you're having for your tea on Facebook.
oh, you sweet summer child, Stu. You sweet summer child. All I'm going to say is just don't Google it. That's the best thing you can do is just don't Google it. But there we are. Yes, right. With all that cake-related debauchery out of the way, shall we get back into a game of Pathfinder, folks?
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Is there cake?
anything to distract us from Neil's terrible, terrible game.
I think it's a great game, Neil. I'm on
Thank you.
board.
Thank you, Darren.
I'm fully behind you.
We'll start a podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe the listeners can write in and let us know just how depraved they think it is. Join us on Discord to tell us what you really think.
Celebrity
Tell us-
bum cakes.
Come to Discord to tell us your pick of cake and celebrity.
I'm fully behind you, and I'm holding a chocolate fudge cake at the same time.
All right then, folks. Let's move from one terrible game into one slightly less terrible game. Let's play some Pathfinder, folks. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go. All right. So, our adventurers, Orwin Templeton, Brother Amos, Otto von Niederschläger, and Della Thornbury have made their way to the small village of Elsprin, a hamlet of sorts that lies most of the way on the road from Woldsby to their destination of White Throne. They're sort of heading there with their friend and guide, Nadia Petska, with the intention of leaving her children there so she can continue onto White Throne itself with them and sort of show them where they need to go and make some introductions for them, that sort of thing. But just as you arrived in the village of Elsprin, you came across a commotion of sorts. You saw that on one of the houses on the outskirts of the village, the sort of very limits of the settlement, if you will, you saw that there was, lying in the snow, there was what appeared to be a dead woodsman. On investigation, you were warned by a woman from inside the hut who had barred and shuttered the windows that whatever had killed him was still in the area and was tormenting her for some reason, perhaps even seeking to kill her. Deciding that you couldn't allow this to happen, you investigated the scene. You determined that the woodsman had been killed by two small creatures wielding sort of very, very precise weapons. And after a quick search, you discovered that they were hiding invisibly and within the underbrush nearby. As the creatures revealed themselves to you, they screeched about. They screeched at you, sort of making aspersions toward your character races, calling you all filthy humans, and saying that you were ungrateful, though for what, you're not sure. And after a brief battle in which these creatures did quite hard and fast damage to some of you, but ultimately you were able to bring them down by working sort of very, very tactically, and getting them on the ground where they couldn't run away from you, and ultimately slaughtering the pair of them. And that is where we bring ourselves back in. So the second of these creatures has just collapsed to the ground under the onslaught of your attacks, and yeah, that's where we bring ourselves back in. So, adventurers, what would you like to do?
Well, Otto is still in snake form and has been for 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. When would it naturally wear off anyway?
I think animal form lasts for a minute. It will say in the spell description.
Which would be 10 rounds.
Yes, 10 rounds. So 1 round in combat is a loose representation of 6 seconds.
Right. Well, in that case, I want to come out of snake form. Is that a complete turn? Another 2 goes to?
No, I believe you can just drop it. You can just drop it whenever you wish.
Okay. Well,
or it might be an action, but either way, it's you're currently under no threat, so you can kind of do that as and when you want to.
I will do that, and I would like to cast a healing spell as well. If everyone would like to gather round.
Yes,
Please.
Brother Amos took a bit of a battering last time.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I said, that'd be good because Brother Amos took a bit of a battering last time.
Brother Amos really did, yes. Draw close.
Now, Chardonnay and I are fine. You go ahead.
Right, so it's I restore 1d8 hit points. Range of 30 feet. If you're healing a living creature, increase the hit points restored by 8. So 1d8 plus 8.
So when you cast heal, Otto, how many actions are you using to cast it?
Do I have all 3?
Yeah. So you're out of combat. So if you want to use all 3, you can use all 3.
Yes, I'll use all 3.
Okay. So when you cast heal, the number of actions you spend to cast the spell does different things. So right. if you cast one action, that's 1d8 hit points to one creature. Mm-hmm. If you use 2 actions, it's a range and it's a d8 plus 8. And if you use all 3 actions as you're doing here, it's a d8 back to everybody within 30 feet.
A d8 back to... right.
Yeah, so just roll a d8 for me, and that will tell you how much you get back for everybody. Basically, for all your friends, all your allies.
5.
Nice.
5, and then is that plus 8?
No, the plus 8 is only on the two action version.
So I get less if I do the 3 actions.
You do, but it acts more as a burst rather on. Like if you use the 2 actions, it's a single creature.
Ah, okay.
Because theoretically, so on the 3 action one, you could heal the whole village practically.
Yeah, if you gathered them all within 30 feet, yeah.
Right. Well, as I'm doing quite a few of us, I'll at least I'll bring back 5 points for everyone.
Am I still enfeebled?
No, that kind of numbing chill that was afflicted to you was very, very temporary, and in fact, the round after that had happened, that kind of wore off, and you felt the feeling return to you.
Is Brother Amos still injured?
Yes.
Okay, Alwyn will come over, place a hand on your shoulder, and you get 12 hit points back.
Thank you very much.
I wouldn't mind some of that.
No, can only do that once every 10 minutes.
All right.
If you sit in the corner for 10 minutes, I can do it again. Are you quite injured then, Otto?
No, I'm about 3/4 okay.
Well, shall we get inside and I can do some rounds of healing on people?
Let's do that.
There might be more of those things.
Shall we take their heads with us?
I like that idea.
So
Yes.
dark.
Why do you need
Well,
their
just-
heads?
Just to show that we've
They're dead.
yeah, but they might not let us in the house
There's
unless we.
children.
Yes, so they will see the heads and they will know they're safe, and then we can mount them on spikes as a warning.
If you
Oh.
came to my house holding heads, I wouldn't feel very bloody safe.
You would if they were heads of things that had threatened you, and who had been frightened of us. I say, look, here are their heads, like showing you the head of a snake that you were being menaced by.
Yes, but then when it's sort of shoved in your face by a dwarf covered in blood.
But there might be a bounty.
Oh dear God. I was just going to walk towards the house.
As you're having this conversation, and Orwin, as you sort of turn away in exasperation, you all hear a soft thud in the snow near the tree where this invisible creature first appeared.
Oh,
What was that soft thud I just heard?
investigate that.
Okay, you move. You move back to the tree under which you originally found one of these creatures hiding invisibly, and you can just see in the snow there is what looks to be a leather riding boot.
How big is the boot?
It's probably human sized. You know, if Olwyn or Amos were to put it on, it would probably fit quite snugly. Maybe a bit small in size, but in principle, it would fit them.
Look up into the tree where it's come from.
Give me a perception roll, Olwyn.
To quote Star Wars, I've got a bad feeling about this. 21.
21, okay. Olwyn, as you sort of look up into the tree from the spot where this boot has fallen, and it takes you a second. You have to really sort of squint into the branches of the tree. Whatever you're seeing here was hidden here quite well, but you can see suspended in the tree and bound in what look to be vines of sorts. You see a humanoid-shaped creature. It's got the head and torso of a man, and the legs of what appear to be a goat. And you can see that horns curl back across its head.
Is it conscious?
With that perception roll, you can see that the creature is conscious. It seems to be struggling very ineffectually against these bonds. You can see its mouth is completely covered over with these vines or this bracken that's holding it fast. But you can see, you can make out its eyes looking around and now looking at you.
Hello? Are you friends with those things? The long legs?
He doesn't look too much like he was too much friends with them.
Shall we get him down?
Olwyn, you did notice. I'm not sure if this is Olwyn doing this deliberately, but you did see that his mouth was completely covered by.
Oh
by the
yes,
brambles.
yes. I was hoping for a nod or a shake of the head as a response.
Oh yes. in that case, you can see that he's very well secured. He's barely able to move.
Right. Okay, well, we need to be careful, but is anyone good at climbing?
I'll climb. Yes.
Do we have any rope? Perhaps we should take some rope up into the tree.
I still have my grappling hook.
I've got some rope if you need some rope.
Because then you can
I've got a
fasten
climbing
yourself.
kit if you want a climbing kit.
Yes. Okay. What's in the climbing kit?
Rope.
Yeah.
And a grappling hook.
Yeah,
with
I
me.
already
1
have
second.
Stabby things and
Spiky things.
clippy
So-
things and stringy things.
A climbing kit includes 50 foot of rope, pulleys, pitons, a hammer, a grappling hook, and a set of crampons. It's really meant more for mountain climbing than climbing a tree, but it lets basically it stops you from it helps stop you from falling rather than helping you actually climbing. It's like a series of harnesses and protective gear.
Yes, you should not climb that tree without a safety rope. You can tie it around yourself, and as you climb, you hook it over a branch, so someone's holding it from below. So if you fall, we have you on a rope.
How high up is this creature?
The tree itself, this tree is not that high. Well, it is still quite high, but it's certainly not as high as some of the trees you've been up previously. It's maybe 20 feet to the top of the tree, and this creature is bound about halfway up. It's about 3/4 of the way up.
It's only about 15 foot. I don't think we need to worry about things like that, but I think we do need to ready ourselves in case it's a foe.
I will prepare myself by standing ready.
You stand ready, okay. So, Brother Amos, you said you're climbing up to
Yes.
to release the creature, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Could I have an athletics roll, please? Just don't roll a 1.
You know what's going to happen now, don't you?
Like, we don't need the climbing kit. It's fine. It's only a small tree.
26.
26, yeah, easily. This tree itself was once probably very very sturdy, and it has retained a lot of its strength despite being sort of outwardly a little bit dead. And yeah, you quickly find your way sort of climbing up through the boughs and the branches, and before too long, Brother Amos, you find yourself on the same kind of level as this creature. You can see now that you're closer, it's got sort of eyes of a deep brown and hair of a vague red, or almost like a ginger colour. You can see he's looking at you, and indeed now that you're closer, you can see that it is a he. He's looking at you almost pleadingly, Brother Amos, and you can see that he is secured to the tree quite thickly by what looks to be vines of some sort. Vines and brambles.
Are they easily pulled off?
You sort of look at it and you think you probably could. They are a bit spiny and spiky, so you'll have to be careful not to, sort of rip your hands on them. But you think, if you put enough force into it, you could rip them free.
Or I could just borrow someone's sword, I suppose.
Yeah, if you want to.
Could somebody toss me a blade?
Does my necklace of knives, does that disappear if I throw the actual knife?
I believe it does. Yes, I think after it's hit or missed, it disappears.
Gosh, well, I can chuck you up a dagger. That's fine. If you would like.
Yes. Please.
Don't hit him!
I'll throw it up at its chin.
with deadly accuracy.
Yeah.
Here lies Brother
Dagger
Amos.
plunges into Brother Amos's heart.
Yeah, easy enough. You sort of unbuckle one of your daggers, Della, and you toss it up to Brother Amos, who catches it deftly. You sort of lean down from one of the branches, take it in one hand, stick it in your mouth like a pirate, and then haul yourself back onto the branch.
Maybe just cut his mouth free first.
Yes.
I'll say as I throw it up.
Yeah, I'll cut his mouth free first.
Give him the new smile.
Wow. And here we were talking about Otto being dark.
Sorry.
Sounds like Della's going to fit right in with this group.
I've ungagged you so I can hear your screams.
Okay, so you are cutting his mouth free. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. As you do so, Brother Amos, you can see he sort of struggles a little bit, then sees what you're doing, and relaxes and allows you to ungag him. And as you do so, and as these brambles fall away, you see he takes in a big gasp of breath. Oh, thank you so much.
I like him already.
Let's take him with us.
I won't set fire to the tree after all.
Who are you?
My name is Garin.
Garon.
Garin, yes. Those two quicklings, those two things on the ground that you killed, they were going to harm my mother.
Your mother?
Yes, my mother. She lives in that house there. I've not seen her for many years.
Oh, we didn't see her either. She would not open the door.
I mean, that is for the best. I saw what they did to her husband.
And is her husband your father?
My father? No, that's not my father.
I was going to say well, no, I wasn't going to say anything actually. It's not my place. It's probably best not to say. I just I don't know why I thought it was him, but I wondered if you needed consoling in your grief of the loss of your father. That was my thinking.
I've never met my father, but thank you for your concern.
You think your mother is unharmed?
If she was talking to you, then she must be. Fairnip and Zazaba said that they were going to teach her a lesson.
Who said this?
Fairnip and Zababa. The Quicklings, you killed them.
You knew their names?
Oh, you knew their names. You were on social terms with them.
Well, that's one way of putting it. You see, I've been in exile a long time. I met them in the woods. I thought they were friends, but when they learned that my mother had moved out of the village to hide what I was, it made them angry. They said the humans should be grateful for Fey blood, and they said they were going to come here to teach her a lesson.
I wonder what they had against us.
What do we think? Do we think it's safe for Brother Amos to let him
go? Maybe we could bring the mum out here.
Good idea.
Safe?
Yes.
She'll tell us.
Shall I check the Quicklings' heads to show her that all is safe?
No!
Perhaps she can explain why he has a weird, odd sort of Italian accent sometimes.
I don't know, it's just my voice. This is how all fawns speak.
Oh, fawn. Is there a role I can take to see if you know anything about fawns?
There is. You can give me a... we'll say this is a nature roll.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm trained in nature.
Yeah, if you want, make a roll.
Rolled an 18 for a dirty 20 then.
Okay. Brother Amos?
14.
14. Okay. Brother Amos, you've not heard the word before, but Olwyn, you have. A fawn is a fey creature that, as you can see from looking at this individual, has the upper torso, arms, and head of a man, but the goat-like legs of a goat, a tail, which as you sort of look a bit closer, you see that it's been kind of pressed against the tree, and as I say, these curling ram's horns that curl back across the top of its head. Fawns are generally the result of a union between sort of fey and humanoid creatures.
Would I know about any powers or?
I'll tell you what. With that roll, what would you? I can give you one piece of information about it. So, would you like to know something it's good at, something it's weak at, some special ability it has?
Something it's good. I'm particularly trying to rack my brains to see what they are like with regards to deception. But I would say what they're good at. I want to know if they're good at deception.
Okay, so
or if they are deceptive creatures.
What I will tell you is that they are not known to be deceptive per se. They are known to be capricious, but that is the case for a lot of fey creatures. They generally tend towards good rather than evil, but they're a bit. They can be a bit chaotic and capricious in their dealings with non-fey races.
And what are their weaknesses? Just in case, it might be good to know that.
With that nature roll, that is all Olwyn's going to get.
Can I do a nature roll for a weakness?
If you want.
I am trained in nature. Ooh, 26.
26, all right. So, Otto, you know that like all fey creatures, it will probably have an aversion to cold iron.
Ah. Yes.
I think it's probably all right.
I think it probably is, but keep the sword handy because you never know.
Yes, let's take him to see his mother, but stand close.
We're cutting him loose then.
What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not so he falls. Just sort of cut his hands free and then
Okay, so Brother Amos will cut him loose.
Yeah, easy enough to do. Sort of taking the care to make sure that he's got a grip before you kind of cut the last bond. And after a few moments, you do cut him free, and he sort of swings his weight onto a branch and drops down into the snow with a thud, sort of landing on his feet as he does so.
And he does have feet rather than hooves.
Oh, sorry, he does. You can see that he does actually, in fact, have hooves. Certainly, one leg is missing a boot. You suspect, Otto, that he managed to kick the other boot free in order to get your attention.
Ah, so it's not his boot.
Is he dressed to hide the fact that he's got goat legs?
Yes, although that kind of thing is difficult to fully conceal. Like when you look at all closely at him, you can see that he's clearly got a goat's legs and a tail and horns.
Say the horns are a bit of a giveaway. Maybe some large hat.
Yeah, I mean, he might have lost his hat at some point. I mean, I'd never lose my hat, but some people lose their hats.
But otherwise, he is dressed much in the same way that you might expect to see a commoner dressed.
Warmly, then. In this weather. Right, let's take him to see his mother.
Yes, and so he drops to the ground out of the tree. Oh, thank you so much. Now, my mother, is she all right?
Mamma mia.
Let's go find out.
Let's go and see.
Okay, so are you returning to Marritt's house?
Yeah. Still keeping a close eye on.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, you approach the house. The door is still closed. The windows are still shuttered. You can still see light creeping out from inside.
Can we smell any pasta dishes being created?
Give me a perception check, Amy.
Yes.
As
25.
a half Italian, I'm finding all this wildly offensive.
Wait till you hear my Nottingham accent. Darren.
25.
As you approach the hut, Amy, Della, you do actually catch the faint scent of something spicy and tomato based, perhaps being cooked inside.
Is it meatballs?
I was hoping for a cake.
Well, a lasagna is like a cake.
Moist lasagna?
It is indeed, yes. Moist and...
It's full of layers.
and yes, like a pasta cake.
All right. Okay.
Unconvinced.
This is an insult to my people!
You just see Darren going redder and redder and redder. Any second, he's going to burst a blood vessel and just leap through his computer screen at us.
And ragu will leak out of me.
Yes. Bolognese sauce everywhere.
All right. So yeah, you approach the house and you do see that it is still barred and shuttered. What would you like to do?
Oh, Garen, why don't you call out to your mother?
Yes. All right, I will. Mother, it's Garen. It's me. I've come home, Mother. And you see, you hear a gasp come from inside the rest of you. And you sort of see the hut, the shutters of the windows sort of twitch very slightly as they creak open just a little bit, and you see a single eye sort of looking out towards you all. Is this true? Is it? Are you a trick? Are you more of those things to torment me?
Well, we got rid of 2 of them.
Yes, we fucking slotted them.
Mother, it's me. Don't you know my distinctive voice? And you see the shutter rattles as the woman that you assume to be Marat sort of slams the shutter closed. And a few moments later, you hear the sounds of a lock being unlocked on the inside of the door. And the door swings open, and you see standing in the doorway a sort of human woman in her late 20s. She's got a cascade of dark hair, sort of framing a freckled face with green eyes, and she's dressed in the garb of what you might assume a commoner to be dressed in. She seems to have been dressed for cooking. There's an apron that's splattered with a red meaty smelling sauce, and as she comes out, as she opens the door very tentatively, she sees the fawn standing in front of her, and throws all caution to the wind as she throws the door open, rushes forward and gives him a massive hug. "Oh, Garen, my Garen, it is you!" "Yes, Mother, it is I. I am home again from my many years in exile."
Right, good.
This is a really touching moment, but I
Very
just...
touching. I think I have something in my eye.
All I could think of is, like how goats just scream. And there's the videos where goats just scream. But I thought you were going to open the door and it was just going to be a goat that goes... That's all I could think of.
I mean, if that would make you happy, Amy, I can retcon it so that happens.
No,
No, we do not have any screaming goats in this house. Thank you very much.
Can you edit screaming goat noises?
Yeah. Yeah, I can take. We've been playing Devour lately, so I can take some from that. When we burn the goats. Yeah.
That's too funny. Yes, that was a very touching moment.
Okay, yeah. So you've seen this little reunion happen in front of you, and kind of as Marit eventually pulls away from Garen, sort of the whole time touching his face and moving her hands across his shoulders and stuff. You're just checking that he is in fact real. And then after a second, she's satisfied that it is her long lost son. She turns back to the rest of you. Oh, thank you. I mean, please come in. You're welcome anytime. You've brought my son back to me. Thank you.
Yeah, something smells really nice.
Are you hungry? I mean, of course. How rude of me. Come, your guests. Come in, eat. We'll get some food for you.
I'll go in.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll go in too.
Is Chardonnay all right coming in? He's very well trained.
What? Yes. Bring your wolf in. Bring your wolf.
Where's Nadia again? Nadia went off with the boys, didn't she?
Yes, you recall that Nadia was continuing into the village properly to kind of hurriedly leave the boys with her sister, and then she was going to come back and assist you in dealing with whatever was going on here.
Yes, glad we waited for her. Yes. That was sensible. Shall I go off and see if I can find Nadia then?
Well, she's got to come back this way, hasn't she? Like, this is where we last saw her.
Yeah, but she might want to bring the boys back with her. It'd be horrible for her to come all the way back here and then find out she's got to go back and get the boys again and come back, so at least if I can intercept her on the way.
Well, you do know, Olwyn, that the whole point of coming to Elsprin as like a stop off was to leave the boys with Nadia's sister anyway.
Oh yes, never mind. Let's wait here for Nadia. Right. Do you know Nadia Maret? You know Nadia, don't you?
Yes, I do. She's a friend of the village. She's a friend of many of the villages along the road to Whitethrone. Always done right by the people I've known, and her sister's not too bad either.
Yes. A bit of a delicate question, Maret. What would you like us to do with your husband?
Do you know, in all that's just happened, I must confess I've not thought about that. It's still very recent, very fresh. I mean, I need to tell the girls what's happened to him. Gods, I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Is there somewhere we can take him?
Could you perhaps clean him up and prepare a pyre?
Yes.
I'll burn him this evening.
Yes. Anybody like to help me?
Yes, I'll help.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to help.
Gather some wood.
Yes. Otto's brilliant with fire, so he can find the most flammable wood. Very experienced at setting fire. Quick question, Maret. If we'd have come to your door, waving severed heads at you, would you have felt safer?
Specifically the severed heads of those creatures that were menacing you.
The skulls of our enemies.
Yes.
I mean, now you've clarified that it would have been those creatures, I would have minded less, but I've got children in here. Why would you do such a thing?
Yes.
To make you feel safe.
And Brother Amos wants to give Otto a little sneaky fist bump.
Yes, the heads of your enemies. What could make you feel safer than seeing them on a spike outside your house?
Well, if that makes you feel safe, you must be accustomed from wherever. If you don't mind me asking, where are you all from? You're certainly not. You certainly don't look like Iriseni folk.
No, we're not from around these parts. Normally, I take heads to sell them to show that I have taken the life of a wanted man, and rather than carry the whole body back, I just take the head.
You ever thought about just taking the ears?
Don't give him ideas.
I have thought of that, but ears aren't distinctive enough. They don't have enough information about it. They can't identify someone from his ears. And
Owen moves
also,
his hair to cover his slightly pointed ears.
Yes, and also, you could take someone's ears and they could still be alive.
Well,
So-
if nothing else, at least you're practical. Sorry, where are my manners? What are your names? I'm Marit Truskin.
Hello, Marit. I'm Alwyn, and to answer your earlier question, I'm actually from long way from here. I'm from the Golden Road, and this is Chardonnay. Poor Chardonnay. Chardonnay, hold up a paw.
She takes it. Very well trained wolf you've got.
Yes.
The Golden Road, you say? I can't say I've ever heard of that place.
It's long way from here, and it's a bit of a shit place, so don't worry.
All right, if you say so, I'll take your word for it. You're from there. No. As you're having this conversation, a couple of minutes later, you hear the sound of a dog sled pulling back up towards the road where you left your other sled, and you see Nadia returning, and she sort of leaps off of the sled with battle axe and longbow in hand. Sort of sees you all milling around outside the door, and sort of calls over to you. Ah, all right. Have you dealt with the problem here? Is it safe?
Yes, hello Nadia. Yes, come on in. We were just all introducing ourselves to Maret and telling her where we're all from and about ourselves. Alwyn will look over at Della.
Yeah, you can call me Della.
And
Della.
I am Otto.
No, Brother Amos.
No. Della was telling us where she's from.
Oh, not from here. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Worth a try. Come on, Otto. Let's go sort things out.
Yes.
The plan is, if Otto's in agreement, Alwyn will tend to the body whilst Otto gets the...
Yeah, that's fine. So between the two of you, you're able to do that without too much difficulty. You set a small pyre outside the cabin, far enough away from anything that you're not going to accidentally start a forest fire, that sort of thing. And between you, you are able to prepare the body of Borvold to be for a funeral later that evening. I'm guessing you sort of lay his axe across his chest or something like that.
Yeah, not knowing what the... I mean, ooh. Is there anything we've seen that might indicate a religion? Either in these parts, or...
I'll tell you what, Owen. You can give me a wisdom roll.
Oh, not too bad. 18.
18, okay. So, Olwyn, as you're thinking about sort of funeral rites, what might be practiced by the people out here, you recall a short while ago, you saw that Nadia was hiding a symbol of Erastil, who she described as being a god that is not kind of frowned upon by Irison itself, but you also got the sense that there are quite a lot of people certainly amongst the common folk who worship Erastil in secret, partly because of Erastil's... A big part of Erastil's domain is to do with family and protecting your home.
Sounds appropriate regardless then. And would Alwyn know about Erastil funeral rites or...
Well, why don't you briefly tell us what Alwyn was before he was a champion of Caden Kalian?
Well, Alwyn was a champion of Erastil.
There we go. Never fully finished his training or took his oaths, but nevertheless, you would have knowledge of Erastil's funeral rite.
Swore off Erastil. Wasn't happy with him, but him, her. Hang on, Erastil, him. Yeah. Okay. Alwyn will lay out the body in accordance.
Yeah, you do so. It's easy enough to do. It doesn't take you long to do so. And yeah, so what's your intention? How long are you looking to stay in this particular place as a group?
I definitely want to get some dinner in.
Yeah.
Now that you've smelt it.
Yeah, and Marit is more than happy to provide a meal for you. She does provide it is a ragu sort of thing. Quite surprising, not the kind of thing that you would ever have expected to see out here in the wilds of Irison. But somehow she's found a way to grow the requisite herbs and spices to make a lovely, flagrant Arabiata style meal.
Oh.
And yeah, so as you're having, you spend a bit of time in the house with Marit. Unless there's anything specific you want to do or to talk about, we'll wind forward a little bit.
Are there
I'm just
going
going
to
to
be
shove
any
a
more of
ragu
those?
into my face.
Yeah. Do we know if there are any more of these creatures that came and attacked you? Like, are you safe here?
Are you asking her or are you asking Garen?
Both. Open
both.
questions at the table.
Okay, so Marit says she doesn't know. Today was the first time she'd seen them. But Garen, very enthusiastically, he can only speak enthusiastically, but you get the point. He sort of says to you, no, Fern and Zababa were the only two.
Okay.
They had a strange twig creature with them, but I think it got lost somewhere. I've not seen it for some time.
A strange twig creature.
Yes,
And
a creature called a twig jack.
A twig jack. And is a twig jack dangerous?
They can be, but generally speaking, they won't do much. They won't attack anyone unless directed.
Is a twig jack a thing that might go off and warn others or make reports or
Seek revenge?
Yeah.
Not really. It's more of an animated shrub than anything else.
Yes, I've had experiences with animated
Yes.
shrubs.
We've had a few experiences with animated. I mean, first of all, there was our Busto, and then there was that horrible thing in the tower.
The blood
nearly
lash
killed.
bush. And
Yes. Oh, yes. Blood lash bushes, and yes. Otto, you've been killed by quite a few bush types.
yes, I have. So
Yes.
I'm not happy to meet Twig Jack. I wonder how well he burns.
Oh,
So
they burn very well. I can tell you that for nothing.
Oh, well, I look forward to meeting him then.
Didn't help on the other things. Our Busto was all right there. We liked our Busto.
But yes, I do not think you need to worry about the twig jack. As I say, I've not seen it for a couple of days now. They sent it out to scout for some food and it never came back.
Perhaps it caught fire somewhere.
Does it look like a twig?
Yes, it looks like a walking, talking twig.
Okay.
Here's a joke. What is brown and sticky?
I recommend if ever you meet one, you do not say that joke. They do not appreciate humour.
A stick. They don't like jokes.
No.
I hate him already.
Not speciesist jokes, no.
No, they
Luckily,
have.
Otto, he's made of wood.
No. They just hate humour. They don't like that other beings gain enjoyment out of something such as humour. They think it should be all to themselves. They get jealous and angry.
Are they the stick that goes up people's asses?
I would not know what that means.
I mean, also humour has that sort of effect on a lot of people, I've noticed.
You're saying I have corrupted this young lady?
I don't know. No, I don't. I worryingly, I don't think you have.
But if a twig jack does have a stick that goes up my arse, I want to know. I don't want that to be a surprise. I want to be able to prepare myself.
You want to be ready.
Yes.
You want to know that there's a cake on the end of it?
Yes, I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm moist. That happens.
This ragu's lovely. Thank you very much. Do you have any of that garlic, cheesy garlic bread?
She informs you that sadly she's run out of garlic, but normally she would have some for you. Yeah, you spend a little bit of time in the hut with Marit. She sort of feeds you, sort of thanks you again for your assistance from earlier on, and just as it's sort of getting towards twilight, she sort of says, "Right, I need to. It's almost sundown. I need to send my husband on his way. And I don't mean to be rude, but I would like to do this alone, please."
Totally understand. Just to sort of backtrack ever so slightly, when we've been in the house and sort of chatting, Alvin would like a couple of occasions to take himself away for 10 minutes and do a lay on hands, one each on Otto and Brother Amos.
Yeah, that's
Get one of
possible.
those as well, please.
Three occasions.
Yeah, that's fine. This whole section takes takes a couple of hours from when you arrived to when Marit sort of starts to move you on.
You get back 12 hit points.
And
12 hit points. Thank you, my friend.
as we sort of come to the end of that period of time, and Marit asks you very politely that she wants to do it by herself, Nadia sort of says, "Right, well, that sounds like a good time to me to get over to my sisters. The boys are there now. You've got a place to stay. I've arranged that. I don't anticipate being here much more than a day, but we can leave when you're all ready."
Thank you. That's very kind.
Thank you.
Yes, most kind.
So, do you want to go into the village?
Before we
Yes.
do anything, Brother Amos, can I have my dagger back, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So, with all property returned to its rightful owner, you sort of gather your things back to the dog sleds, and as you start making your way into the village itself, you see the glowing embers and a curl of smoke beginning to rise from the place where the pyre was built for Borvold. And for having done what you think is some good in this area, you move on into the village itself. And it's only a few minutes later as you come into the centre of the village itself. And this is quite a small settlement. You see that it's what looks to be a ring of buildings built around a central a central plaza or market square of sorts, which is dominated by a impossibly large and thick oak tree, very very dead. It looks like it's been here a very long time, but the trunk is strong and the roots run thick. So although it's devoid of foliage, this is still a very imposing sight, sort of towering over the village itself. And as you approach into the centre of the village and you get to the tree itself, Nadia leads you around one side of the tree towards a house in the back corner of the village. And as you come around the other side of the tree, you can see that nailed or bound to the tree itself, there is a feminine body that is missing its head, dressed in white robes crisscrossed with black symbols, which are soaked with blood from the neck down. And that is where we end for tonight, folks.
Cool. Tales from the 20 Side is a Feagle Films production in association with Juicy Falls. Music by Nazar Ryback from hooksounds.com. Editing by Stu Jackson. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by searching Tales from the 20 Side or by visiting talesfromthe20side.com.
Oh, you little
Italian
racist.
Yeah, wave us ever had at her. That's got to be the woman we encountered on the road then.
Good.
Well.
Oh, blimey.
Well, that was interesting.
It was.
We've learnt a lot about each other, I think.